What's good, everybody? It's your boy Agent P of the GLP here to give you guys your Nuggets talk recap of Bulls and Nuggets. This game had one of the most egregious ejections I have ever seen in the history of my life watching NBA basketball. I will get to it, but let me go ahead and just get into the recap first, y'all. First quarter, Denver started out really strong, 9-2 at the 8:20 mark. You had some nice passing in the interior between AG and Michael Porter Jr. That prompted a timeout from Chicago. Then you had the Bulls go on an 11-0 run randomly. And then in between that run, KCP ended up getting hurt. He ended up having a face contusion, and that ended up putting him out for. They said he'd be questionable. He actually did come back in the second quarter, but after that, he ended up sitting for the rest of the game. Kind of understand it. It's a regular season game, not trying to push anything too much. If he's feeling it a little bit, let's go ahead and sit him on the bench and let the other guys get some run in this one. So, end of the first quarter ended up being 32-25 Denver. It was a great quarter for the bench. That was going to be a prelude for the rest of the night. Christian Brown had 7 points. He hit 2 threes. P. Watt had a bucket and a block. 12 bench tons in total. They shot 52% from the quarter. And DeAndre Jordan is getting the nod in this one over Zeke Naji, who got the nod in the last game. But DeAndre coming in as the center, and this one made more sense. Chicago's got two big centers in Vucevic and Drummond, so matchup-wise, it did make sense in this one. Second quarter, KCP did come back. At the 7:19 mark, Denver was up 40-36. Denver subs kept it close. During that stint in the beginning of the second quarter, they went on an 11-8 run, so good job by them staying ahead in this matchup. 2:47 mark, it was 49-44. It was an awkward stretch by both teams offensively. Just no one was really getting it going. And then it happened. At the 1:08 mark in this game, Nikola Jokic tried a reverse layup against Nikola Vucevic. He got hit on the arm. He yelled at the ref. And after Colby White drove to the basket and he got called, the foul got called for him, the ref immediately looked at Jokic and called him for 2 techs and ejected him from the game. It was one of the most egregious, softest calls I have ever seen in my entire life watching basketball. Now, I was going through Twitter to try to figure out what Jokic said, and there were some people who were speculating, people who were at the game saying that he said, call the foul, mother effer, or something of that nature. And if that's the case, it deserves a tech, but not an ejection, man. You gotta be shitting me to eject him for that. This is the 2-time MVP. This is your defending champion, your reigning and defending Finals MVP, and that's all it took for your sensitive ass to eject him from this game. What is going on? This referee epidemic during this season has been so ridiculous. It's made a bunch of games just so unwatchable between the foul baiting by offensive players and refs just teeing people up for the most ridiculous things. In the Dallas and Laker game, Tim Hardaway Jr. got a tech for hanging on the rim. Why are we still calling techs for hanging on the rim? This isn't like the year 1990, bro. It's people show emotion. You hang on the rim a little bit sometimes. You do something cool, you yell. You like to show that you did something dope. Like, why is that still a bad thing? I have no idea. And this one, people yell at refs all the time. How is your tolerance that low? There's no way you haven't heard worse than someone calling you an MFer, especially from a player. And Jokic, what made it worse too was that this was in Chicago, and it was Chicago's Serbian Heritage Night. Chicago, I believe, has one of, if not the biggest Serbian population in the U.S. And every time the Nuggets come around, because they would only come one time during the year into Chicago, this was their only game there, and Jokic was ejected in the first half. I was watching the Chicago broadcast. Their broadcasters couldn't believe it. You could hear the arena audibly booing at the decision. And these are fans in Chicago. They just wanted to see Big Serb play tonight, and they ejected him in the first half. That official needs to be reprimanded. There needs to be picket signs. We need to suspend this man, fine him to the nth degree. What are you doing, Adam Silver? What are you doing? This league is, you just came off an incredible in-season tournament, and your game is still marred with this BS, and I'm sick of it, man. The whole league is sick of it. Get with the officials and start holding these dudes accountable in the right ways. Let the game be what it needs to be. I'm tired of it, dog. This can't keep happening. It can't keep happening. My goodness. But anyway, let me collect myself, get back to the game. 57-50 Denver at the half. Jokic, I'll talk about it later. Nuggets shot 42% at the half, 7 of 14 from 3. Reggie Jackson was playing well. 13 points. Christian Brown had 11. Third quarter, Denver was up 69-59 at the 8:25 mark. The starting unit ended up being Peyton Watson, Strother, AG at the center, Michael Porter Jr., and Reggie. Started on a quick 12-9 run. KCP was then determined to be out for the rest of the game. 4:10 mark, it was 81-71. Both teams were shooting really well. Reggie Jackson was on fire. He got up to 21 points. Michael Porter was at 15. Michael Porter had a license to shoot tonight. His percentage was not that great, but we needed him to get him up. 2:19 mark, Denver was up 7. Chicago run cut the lead to single digits, but Denver then came back with a 9-4 run of their own to close the quarter, getting their lead back up to 12, 92-80 after 3. 6:55 mark, there was a long period of time in this fourth quarter with no timeouts, so it was 189 with 6:55 left. Julian Strother was a very prominent player during this stretch. He was very aggressive in the beginning of the fourth quarter, hit a couple of nice floaters, getting to the basket. He got his total up to 14 at that point. 4:28 mark, it's 104-92 Denver. Denver's bench was up to 47 points on the evening at this point. And Denver was able to cruise pretty much towards the end. They had a double-digit lead. They ended up winning by 8, but double digits for most of the remainder of the quarter. And they get another back-to-back win set. They won this game 114-106. This was the 6th time already that the Nuggets have played a back-to-back, which is absolutely ridiculous. So hopefully the schedule lightens up as the year goes on. But the 6th time it's happened, and even with the disadvantage in terms of rest, they're 5-1 in the second game of these occurrences. To be fair for this one, Chicago was also coming off a back-to-back, and they're missing Zach LaVine. Obviously, Lonzo's been gone for a while. They did not have Caruso in this one either, so Chicago was a bit shorthanded as well. But with the Nuggets having no KCP, no Jamal, and no Jokic for the rest of the guys to step up, they did great. What are our headlines? Everyone's favorite segment. What did Jokic do tonight? 4 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, and obviously one of the worst ejections I've ever seen in the history of my life. It bears repeating because I still can't believe it. Even doing this recap after the game, it makes me so angry. I can't do it, man. I just don't want to keep. I'm just so frustrated with it. My gosh, man. But the big story tonight, for real, is the bench. The bench was incredible. Everyone on the team, I'll talk about the starters too, but everyone on the team stepped up when Jokic got ejected, especially our bench. They dropped 50 of the 114 points tonight. I'll just reel off their stats really quick. Christian Brown, 13, 2 and 2. Strother, 16, 6 and 3. P-Watt, 4 points. Only shot 1 of 6 from the field, but was a +9 overall still. DeAndre Jordan, 9 points, 10 boards, 2 blocks. Justin Holiday, 8 points. Everyone found a way to step up. Christian Brown was playing backup point guard here, and he's had instances where he's had to play it this year. Even Michael Malone has mentioned it in pressers and to Christian Brown himself, saying, I know you're not a point guard. I'm sorry we're playing you there, but we kind of need you in that spot right now. And he's done okay. Obviously, it's not his natural position. You do see points in the game here and there where he's trying a little lob pass or trying to dump off, a nice little bounce pass that would be leading to a bucket as opposed to just being the connecting play. I like him being in that position, and hopefully that's something where even though it's not his natural position, he can grow and learn to just get a little bit of it's like pick a couple of traits from that point guard tree and maybe add them to his overall game that can make him a better overall player. So I like him playing there for now. It's not a lot of minutes there, so it's not that concerning. It's mostly Reggie Jackson, obviously, and when Jamal is healthy, he's the one running the point. So it's not too much time there, but I like him being there. Another guy who's gotten the ball in his hands put more is Julian Strother, and once again, 16 points tonight, coming off 22 points last night. He's been great, man, and I talk about him and Christian Brown being really good connecting players. Julian has a little more wiggle in his offensive game. He can bring the ball up the court a little bit more comfortably, and offensively, he's really sharp in his cuts. He's very direct with his movement, knows how to get from A to B. He doesn't always get to the basket that much. He likes to shoot his floater more than layups. I think it's mostly a comfort thing and an athleticism thing, but he's looked good in his last 2 games. Just got to keep building on these points, man. Sometimes the shot doesn't fall, and that's okay if the shot doesn't fall. But as long as you're moving the ball, being direct in your movement like he typically is, that's going to help this team moving forward. Peyton Watson, he didn't shoot the ball well, but defensively was still there. Played DeMar DeRozan really well in this one. DeMar was pulling out a lot of veteran tricks in this one. He wasn't falling for a lot of them. Peyton Watson, continue to do what you're doing, man. You have been great for us. DeAndre Jordan coming in, having an almost double-double for us. Great performance from DJ. And then Justin Holiday. When you need him, man, this dude is solid. I honestly was when Denver gets a hold of some of these veterans, man, and just tells them to do small things and be solid and not expect them to just like I think Justin Holiday and DeAndre Jordan, this is my own fault, not paying attention enough to what they were doing at their previous spots. They got a lot of crap for how they played towards the end of their careers in some of these spots before they got to Denver. And it's true they weren't playing well, but I think it's because they were being asked to do a lot more than what they're able to actually perform. So now that they're put in positions to where their strengths are being emphasized and they're only asked to be doing what they do best, even towards the latter stages of their career, they're still able to be effective, especially for this team that's very reliant on structure, very reliant on repetition, very much set in their ways in terms of putting people into their roles and letting them know what to do. So I'm very happy with the veteran performances on this team. Our bench really stepped up tonight, so shout out to them, man. Our remaining starters, so Jokic getting ejected, no Jamal for this one, and then KCP getting hurt in the second quarter and not coming back for the first quarter, and not coming back for the second half. Eric Gordon had 14, 7, and 6. He had a wild ass 3 in this one. He took another one after that as a heat check. I wasn't mad at it because we were up by double digits, but he was missing a lot of shots in the paint, which isn't typical of him. He probably should have been up to 20 points in this one, but other than that, the all-around game was really solid. I like him getting back to just being that guy who's going to the rack, so I appreciated his game tonight. Michael Porter Jr. at 17 and 7, another bad shooting night from him. He was 6 of 16 from the field, 2 of 8 from the three-point line. So, hey, man, sometimes the shot just isn't there for MPJ, and it is what it is. But when it is on, and it is on, especially his three-point shot, that's what makes the Nuggets unbeatable. This was a game where we're just asking him to take more tough shots, so I'm not so mad about the field goal percentage tonight as opposed to last night when we had Jokic the entire game. So it was an okay night from MPJ. And Reggie Jackson, once again, man, this dude just continues to impress. Once again, 25 points and 6 assists. We lamented, man, we really lamented signing Reggie Jackson as the first free agent for this team, and guess what? Without Reggie Jackson, we would not be where we are at right now. This man has been incredible. Shot 9 of 16 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3. It doesn't always look pretty with Reggie, but yeah, from point A to point B, when I talk about Strother being direct, Reggie isn't always so direct, but in between the play, it might look funky, but the end of it usually ends in a bucket somehow or a good play. And he's been incredible for us, man. And I'm just so happy for Reggie Jackson and the opportunity that he's gotten here. And I hope that he can continue to keep that going for the rest of the season. Let's go ahead and a little bit of stat talk. Nuggets shot 47% from the field in this one to Chicago's 42. Out-rebounded the Bulls by 5, 46-41. 14 of 30 from the three-point line and got to the free throw line 22 times. Now they need to make more. Michael Porter Jr., I'm talking to you. You should not be in the 70s. Julian Strother, you're a great shooter. You need to shoot better as well. But overall, at least you got to the line 32 times. I love that. For the Bulls, Kobe White, who's been on a tear in December. I believe he's averaging like 27 or 28 a game. He dropped 27 tonight, right around that average. And Nikola Vucevic had a solid night, 26, 16, and 5 for the Bulls. Now for the Nuggets, they moved to 16 and 9 on the season. We are 25 games into the season, folks. It's crazy, right? We almost got to the December game, to the Christmas game, and we're already 25 games into the year. Nuggets get 1 day off before they go back home. They get to play the Brooklyn Nets this Thursday in Denver. It's going to be nice for them to get back home, get some home cooking, and hopefully those officials from this game do not follow us to Denver. Please go somewhere else. Thank you guys again for listening to the Nuggets Talk Recap. I'm your host, Leonard Pinckney. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next time.